season of the Right Along with Vanessa morning show starts now. This week's episode is sponsored by Dollhouse of Tampa Salon and Studio. Find your inner doll. They offer quick weaves, sew-ins, and much, much more to fit every occasion. Need a wig? Selena's got you. She will customize a unit just for you. Book your next appointment on Booksy today. Did someone say nails? Honey, forget the Bayhive. Contact Queen Bee herself. She offers customized designer nails and even designer press-ons that she will customize and ship to you. Braids, and even twists. Book with Tiffany right on Facebook. Find your inner doll at Dollhouse Tampa Salon and Studio. Tampa. The Stay in Love TV podcast is here. Enjoy topics that will inspire, encourage, and empower you. Why not listen together? Stay in Love TV, now on Spotify. This week's episode is sponsored by Hustle and Bling. It don't mean a thing if you ain't got that bling. Lovely paparazzi designer pieces for only $5. That's right, $5. And don't worry about it if the kid gets in the jewelry box. They're only $5. Make sure you catch Allison Mondays and Tuesdays, Wednesdays and Thursdays live on Instagram and Facebook, promoting some of these wonderful fashion fixes that you'll enjoy. And if you miss it, check out the website. It don't mean a thing if it ain't got that bling. Hustle and Bling. Stay in Love TV is your production to distribution solution to getting your message seen and heard. Having your own TV show with Stay in Love TV has never been easier than now. Stay in Love TV gives you the power to share your message with the world. Stop watching TV and start being watched on TV. Stay in Love TV offers real-time multicasting, all with one click. This opportunity puts you on the world stage with an audience of over 200 million. In addition to your low monthly subscription fees, you will also receive monthly network coaching and training from the network itself to ensure that before your first show premieres, you are set up for success. We at Stay in Love TV bring over 20 years experience in sales, marketing, advertising, and business development. Stay in Love TV, purposeful entertainment driven by love, empowered with passion, fueled with faith. Go to www.stayinlovetv.com and let's get started. Hello everyone. I am Vanessa Klinger, your intuitive life strategist and life coach motivator. Welcome to the Right Along with Vanessa morning show, where we provide you 100% free coaching at your service. Raw, real enlightenment at its best. So come on in and enjoy the ride as we take you higher into the dimensions of God. It's a brand new season. We're in a brand new city. And guess what? Everything is going your way. You guys ready? Let's go! Hello, everyone. How are you? I am Vanessa Klinger, your intuitive life strategist and life coach motivator. Welcome to the Right Along with Vanessa morning show, where we provide you 100% free coaching at your service, raw, real enlightenment at its best. So come on in and enjoy the ride as we take you higher in the dimensions of God. How are you guys doing on this fun, fantastic, funky Friday? We are almost complete with the month of June. We're wrapping up. We have like 2 or 3 more shows, and then we'll be wrapping up for the season for the shows on Stay in Love TV. It's just gone by so quickly. So if you haven't had a chance to check us out,
download the Stay in Love TV app to your device and catch up on all the episodes. I'm sure you're going to find something that's going to enrich and empower and enlighten and encourage your soul to keep on keeping on in your personal development and spiritual development. I believe it. Yeah. So hopefully you guys had a great week. Time's just moving, it's just happening. Lots of changes going on personally with the world, with you energetically. But it's all good. It is all good. And you know what keeps me from just like really just trying to get caught in all of this over analysis of trying to figure stuff out? Two things, maybe three. Number one, I know that this place is not my home. So this keeps me in peace, knowing that this is an experience. And as long as I trust God and myself, all will be well with me. And I think that that's the biggest pain point in this human experience that causes pain to our God, is that we don't believe in trust in this process. And it's unfortunate. And that's what all of these experiences are for. Do you really trust yourself? I'm in you. I'm inside of you. Do you really trust me? And if you don't trust God, there's no way that you can trust yourself, which disconnects that contract, that agreement that you and God had before the foundation of the world. So when you don't trust yourself or God, you disconnect and sever that agreement. And if you're not in agreement, then things can't happen for you. Then you are positioned into experiencing a life by default, where things happen to you and not for you. But when you maintain that agreement, that connection with God, by trusting God and trusting you, then you fall in the category where you are in agreement. And when you are in agreement, that's when things happen. And you wonder why things happen, and you want to blame the devil and all this kind of stuff. No, it's you, baby. When you do not trust yourself and God, you disconnect and sever that agreement, where you will experience a life by default. I'm just telling you, okay? You know what day it is, my loves. It is fun, fantastic, funky Friday. And around here, we do the Friday song. So are you ready? Are you ready to do the Friday song? Let me 1 second. Yes, I forgot to do this. But good day, Spirit. Good day, Cozy. Good day, Reverend Ike. Good day, Stuart Wild. Good day, Dr. Wayne. Good day, Dolores Cannon. Good day, host of witnesses. Good day, good day. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your guidance. Thank you for your encouragement. Thank you for all that you do. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, so you guys ready? We're going to do the Friday song. So let me see if I've got it up here. Is that it? Yep. That's the Friday song. So you ready? A one, a two, a 1, 2, 3. It's Friday, it's Friday, it's Friday, it's Friday. Yay! Things are going my way. Things are going my way. Things are going my way. Things are going your way. Things are going your way. Things are going your way. And today is the day. And today is the day. And today is the day. Good day, good day, good day, writers. I am Vanessa Klinger, your intuitive life strategist and life coach motivator. Welcome again to the Right Along with Vanessa Morning Show, where we provide you 100% free coaching at your service, raw enlightenment at its best. So come on in, enjoy the ride as we take you higher into the dimensions of God. Okay, so as I shared in the opening, if you don't trust yourself nor God, you terminate disconnect, sever. I'm trying to find the right word. hmm The terms and conditions of your soul contract and agreement that you made with God before the foundation of the world. You're not fulfilling the terms of that agreement because you are not in agreement, right? So what happens? You will be classified and fall under in the category of living your life by default, because when you're in agreement, then you can fulfill the terms of the contract, and you refer to the basic instructions before leaving earth. You refer to that where you find all of the promises and everything that God promised. You can lean on that and hold on to that and know that for sure, for certain, that it's going to happen. Why? Because you and God are in agreement. You don't need anybody else. You and God. And where's God? In you. You and God. If you're in agreement, you'll find that when you take the glass off, you'll find that when you're in agreement, you and God, there's nothing, nothing, no thing that you will not experience, that will not happen for you, not to you, for you, because you're in agreement. And you wonder why things ain't happening. That's why. I'm telling you right now, that's why. Some of you guys know we've been having the going through the doing the 30-day prayer, and it's a prayer of deliverance, and it's it will work for you if you work it. If you work it, if you work it, it will work for you if you work it. Yeah. So, you guys ready? You want to do deliverance prayer? Dear God, angels, guides, and spirits who serve our Almighty Creator, the source of all things, I desire not to experience this anymore. So I'm asking for your support to get me into a space where this is no longer a part of my life experience. May there be no harm to my body or soul as this change takes place. I ask that the code be rewritten now to align me to an, an experience where I am no longer experiencing this bondage, this tie, whatever this is. Fill in the blank. Rewrite the code so that my steps may be ordered, so that energetically I may align with the timeline and experience of where that's no longer part of my experience. Something like that. Do you get where I'm coming from? So when you kind of design how to articulate the prayer that works for you, because here's the thing, and this is something I've been learning because I've been listening to Dr. Joe Dispenza and Bruce Lipton and just all these great people, and Dr. Joe is saying that you have to become a different personality if you want to experience whatever it is that you desire. So if you're desiring not to have that to be a part of your experience, then that requires another version of you. And we know Mel Robbins told us years ago, every new situation in your life, I'm paraphrasing, every new situation in your life requires a new version of you, which makes so much sense to me. So with that being said, you need to align with that timeline where that experience is happening. And you ask that the code be rewritten so that energetically you will evolve to that timeline, and then you will be having that experience. See, it's not difficult when you're able to think, have a technical point of view and a creative point of view where they merge. You're able to conceive it. And it makes sense, because if it requires a different version of you, that means that version of you is somewhere having the experience right now. And all you have to do is energetically align with it so that you become aware of it. You sense and know, but you just need to be aware of it. How do you do that? Well, I'm not a genius, but from what I've been able to gather, it requires you vibrating energetically, getting that energy right. The energy where you're in agreement, the energy where you're for sure, you're certain, the energy where you have done whatever taking whatever steps and action that it takes for you to position yourself so that you can evolve energetically. And it's going to seem very natural because we're energy. But the overall process may take some working, but it'll work for you. So work it. It'll work for you if you work it. Yeah. So we have now our spiritual PSA. And, I was thinking about this morning. So the spiritual PSA is just a rebranded, relabeled altar call. And I don't like the altars because you come in, but it's a spiritual PSA. And it's just to kind of let you guys know that there is hope and refuge in God. It is. It is. So let me put my spectacles on because I did not type it out. And where you at, spectacles? Yep. So as you guys are reading that while I find my glasses, this is not the pair I want, but just gonna have to stick with it, I guess. Yeah, let's see if I can see out of these. Nope, can't see out of those. But it's Matthew 11, verse 28 through 30. Matthew 28, 11. No, yep. Here we go. Let me see if I can see it. There we go. All right, here you go. Are you tired, worn out, burned out on religion? Come to me. Get away with me and you'll recover your life. I'll show you how to take a real rest. Walk with me and work with me. Watch how I do it. Learn the unforced rhythms of grace. I won't lay anything heavy or ill-fitting on you. Keep company with me and you'll learn to live freely and lightly. Matthew 11, 28 and 30. Come into agreement with the God in you so that you can finally see the goodness of God and everything that he wanted you to experience while we are here in this world that we don't belong in. We're in it, but not of it. We are here to remind ourselves of who we are and to operate as God. And that's the whole thing that Jesus was doing, was showing us how we can operate in this human form, in this place that is not our home. And I'm going to preach it until I evolve up out of here. And that's why I'm not hooked up, tied up, and tangled up in a lot of material things, leaving legacies and all that. The only thing I'm going to leave here is love. Period. Point blank. May the last check I write bounce. No, I'm just teasing. But I'm serious. Yeah, that's just how I feel about it. Oh, no man, nothing but the loving. So that's all I'm leaving here is love. And I encourage each and every one of you that you make that your spiritual objective. Leave love here. That's what Christ did. God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, his only way of enlightening his people. He sent that here to us. That's love. So why, if we call ourselves, I'm a child of God. Really? Really? So why are you so concerned about that over there when you should be concerned on the betterment of your soul? Huh? You see what I'm saying? And the purpose of aligning yourself to be more like God. And what does God do? God gave and he loves. So he gives and he loves. So if we know that this place is not our home, that we're here on assignment, then we won't get so caught up in all of this stuff. It's great to have. It's fun, because, we're here. But my goodness, you working and slaving and saving and doing all. Why? Why? The best thing you could ever give your children, the best thing you could ever give them is to how to maintain and have a relationship with God. That's the best thing you could give your children. Show them how to be a godly human. Show them what love looks and feels like, and then show them the principles and practices of what Jesus was trying to show us. If a child has a clear sense of who they are, and they have uh, the right word, the right guidance, the right mentorship, the right coaching from a parent, it will equip them to function in this world that they know is not their home. They have to understand that, because otherwise they'll internalize all this stuff and think that the world is against them. But it's not. We're against the world. But we operate at a higher frequency because we come from love, right? We are God-like beings. So we are here in this place, this world. We are in here, but we're not of it. And Christ was trying to show us, this is how you master it. This is how you stand on top of all your emotions. The Bible is a book of philosophy, and it's to teach and guide you how to be more like God before leaving here. Basic instructions before leaving earth. That just didn't come out of nowhere. I really believe that that's what the Bible represents. It's not. Realize, if you guys can do that, then you will finally it'll finally make sense. You'll be like, man, I'm not getting caught up in that. I know what my end outcome is going to be. I know where I'm going. Why? Because I know I'm on assignment. Why? Because I know I'm working for God. Why? Because before the foundation of the world, we had a conversation. He knew me, and he did, and we agreed what I would experience and everything that I had to not deal with, but overcome and accomplish here. The goal. Why? Because we come from God, right? So you made a decision. God, I'm going to serve you. God, you're going to serve him? You guys better listen to the words now, because if you're going to serve him, then all I know about the military is that when you serving the U.S. military, when you serve it in whatever branch you in, you committed, baby, wholehearted, till death. Some of y'all want to give up and quit and cuss God out after your first little minor disruption. It's because you don't trust him. Because you don't trust you. But the right parenting, and I'm kind of bouncing forth because this is about today's discussion. The right parenting, you can speak into your child, and they will have a clear sense of identity. And they'll be able to master this world. And that's kind of a good segue of what we're talking about today. In today's lecture, we are talking about Authentically You. Let me put that here. Authentically You, and the scripture highlights. So we're going to run a commercial. I brought this up too soon. We're going to run a commercial, and when we come back, we're going to be talking about Authentically You, and it's going to be based from the story of Jacob. So go grab yourself a refreshing beverage, and when we come back, we'll be talking about Authentically You. So stay tuned. Hello, everyone. Vanessa Klinger here. Join the great Michelle Massey Washington and I for another exciting season of Spiritually Speaking and Awakening. This ain't your typical Bible study. Get ready to become enlightened as we continue to provide a modern-day perspective on the biblical scriptures, where we teach God's principles and the practices of Christ as we continue to magnify everything that Christ represented. The purpose of watching and listening to our show is that you leave enlightened and filled with joy. Would you like to become a guest on Spiritually Speaking and Awakening? Well, we would love to have you. Join in on the discussions, share your story, promote your product, service, and your upcoming event. Go to www.stayinlovetv.com, leave your details, and we'll contact you. Stay in love. That's right. That's right. Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Spiritually Speaking and Awakening. We have a couple more episodes and then we'll be having the season finale. But join us. And, if you know someone who would make a great guest, let us know. We'd love to have them. So, but today, today's lecture is Authentically You. Authentically You. Scripture reference, Genesis 25 through 21. I'll put the highlight down there. And I'm going to read a couple of the highlights here. And we'll tie it all up in a nice little bow. And we'll be done for the day and get our weekend started. All right. Genesis 27:19. Jacob answered his father, I'm your firstborn son, Esau. I did what you told me. Come now, sit up and eat of my game so you can give me your personal blessing. Genesis 27:38. But don't you have just one blessing for me, father? Oh, bless me, my father, bless me. Esau sobbed inconsolably. So you had one Jacob, aka trickster con man, pretending to be Esau, the oldest. Because back then, the oldest, they get the blessing. And then you had the one that the blessing was initially for, show up late because he had been tricked. He'd been conned. But, had he really been conned? We're going to talk about it. Okay, so the Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So Isaac had Rebecca, his wife, gave birth to two twins, Esau and Jacob. And they, in the womb, they were fighting. And it talks about how they were, why, so much disruption in her womb because there was, two nations, they told them that there were two nations. There we go. Yeah. That were warring. And, that you have to, I try not to look at it from a literal point of a standpoint. I try to look at it from a spiritual at higher frequency, right? So two nations warring is essentially your head, in my opinion, your head and your heart. Because if your head and your heart aren't in agreement, then you won't be in harmony and your life will be in disharmony. Point blank. So you got these twins, fraternal. They're not, fraternal twins. And so she gave birth, and one was they were complete opposite of each other. You guys remember that from there? One was all hairy and the other one's skin was soft as a baby, right? So two different personalities, right? Serving as twins. These are different versions of yourself. That's why I say it's your head and your heart, right? Because your heart is you're more tender, more sensitive, can feel easier. And then the hairy version, rough, can kind of take some stuff, is your mind. And they were two different personalities. But Esau, the oldest, because traditionally the eldest is the one that receives the blessing to carry out the family name. So Isaac had gotten old, and the mother, because remember they were fraternal, so they had two mothers. No, no, they didn't have two mothers. What am I talking about? So Rebecca was like, "Look, your father's getting old; he's dying, So she favored Jacob more, the one who knew how to cook, more sensitive. Esau out in the field doing it, So she favored him more. She said, "Look, I want to get your blessing. You need to go in there. Let me show. I'm gonna tell you what you do, and I'm gonna make it just make the food just the way you like it, so that it pleases him. So you go and you get you some hair and you put it on. You disguise yourself as your brother." So we go in there, Jacob's like, Isaac was old. He was like, wait a minute, I hear Jacob's voice, but I feel like you're Esau. So anyway, he ate, was happy, and he pronounced a blessing on him. Let me see if I can find that scripture. Yep, here we go, right here. And this is from Genesis 27. Yep. And he came close and he said, this is what he blessed him. He said, the smell of my son is like the smell of the open country, blessed by God. He went right in because immediately he believed that was Esau, but it was Jacob. Perfect. It's like the smell of the open country, blessed by God. May God give you of heaven's dew and earth. He poured it out because, he knew he was getting ready to die. So he was like, let me just make sure he covered from end to end. Let me make sure he's blessed. He set him up good, right? And he left. He says, I got it. Okay. But then here come Esau. Esau had done what his father had told him to do. So when he got back, he says, wait a minute, who are you? He said, I'm your firstborn son, Esau. And Isaac was like, oh my God. He's like, your brother tricked me. Right here. And he was like, wait a minute. He said, your brother come here and falsely and took your blessing. And Esau said, not for nothing was he named Jacob the heel. Twice now he's tricked me. First he took my birthright, and now he's taking my blessing. Okay, let's underline and sit in this for a minute. Okay, shall we? Yep, we got time. All right. Mm-hmm. So first the brother came and fed him and tricked him out of his birthright and said, now he's going to take my blessing. So think about it. The birthright, he said, I don't care about it. I'm hungry. I could die. There's so many messages behind this. And I'm trying to, yes. Okay. So Esau was the one that he was entitled to it. But he gave it away. And he wanted to blame his brother for tricking him and for taking his birthright, his blessing. See, because when he tricked him, aka tricked him, Jacob was just being who he had been called his life. He was playing the part, right? Because all his life he had been called a heel, a trickster, a no good for nothing con man. So, that's why it's so important, parents, whatever you calling your children, that's what they're going to become. Anybody really that you are influencing. So he was just operating energetically what he had been called his whole life. Now Esau, if he knew and believed that he deserved the birthright and the blessing, he wouldn't allow just to give up his birthright over a bowl of soup. If he had a clear sense of identity. See, there's so much dysfunction in this family, right, that we're reading about. They first of all had the twins, and then she tricked him and told him how to do all this stuff and everything. But his brother, he didn't even know and believe that it was entitled to him, because if it was so valuable to him, he wouldn't have just given it up over a bowl of soup. So now he gonna blame his brother for just being who he is. I'm reminded of the, that joke about I think it was the alligator and the rabbit or something had to cross the ocean, and the alligator just the snake bit and killed him. And it's just like, look, I was just being a snake. You gonna trust a snake? Why would he trust a trickster he been called his whole life by why? So all the same, it happened. So he went back to the Lord, asked him, do you have anything for me? Like, no, I done gave up everything. I done covered, I done blessed him and everything. It's a bit too late. And then he said, okay, well, this is all I have. He says, you just have one blessing? He said, I got one. You'll live far from earth's bounty, remote from heaven's dew. You'll live by your sword, hand to mouth, and you will serve your brother. But when you can't take it anymore, you'll break loose and run free. Now Esau says he seethed in anger against Jacob because of the blessing of his father had given him. The time for mourning my father's death is close, and then I'll kill my brother Jacob. See, okay. Although it may appear that someone has taken or tricked you out of your blessing, listen to what he's telling him. He said, you'll live far from earth's bounty, remote from heaven's dew. You'll live by your sword, hand to mouth, and you'll serve your brother. But when you can't take it anymore, you'll break loose and run free. Now, it took a while for Esau to understand what that meant, because he was mad, and he did like, okay, whatever. He's like, okay, you just whatever. I don't even know what that means, but I know one thing: after you die, I'm going after Jacob, and I'm gonna kill him because he tricked me out of my birthright, and he stole my blessing. That doggone devil always stealing my stuff, and that God is gonna. I'm gonna take matters in my own hands, and I'm gonna get my blessing back. Okay, yeah, sure. But here's the thing, folks. Your purpose and your destiny, right? Yeah. There's something about drive, initiative, passion, and I'm staying by this. I'm going down this hill that moves God. Now, in the story, they didn't know that this was all a part of God's plan. They didn't know. They were just playing their parts, right? So Jacob, when the mother heard it that Esau coming from him, so Jacob ran and went to his cousin Laban's house. And y'all know the story about Rachel and Laban, and how Laban, he was on the run. How Laban, he worked for him, and he was like fell in love with Rachel and wanted to have marry her, but Laban was telling him, tricked him into marrying his older sister first, and he had to work another 7 years. All this stuff, taking through all these changes, right? Why? Because he had created those scenarios where he aligned with the very man, the trickster, because he had to resolve that karma. He tricked his brother, so he couldn't help but to be tricked. These stories are great because they're teaching you something about reaping and sowing and karma. Because I really believe in my heart of hearts, the whole story would have been different if he hadn't done that. See, so he had to resolve that. So for 21 years, he stayed with this trickster Laman, who only saw him as a paycheck because he was talented and gifted and had favor on his life. So he's going to get whatever he can out of him because he knew he wasn't going to be there long. So he got, for 21 years, he got what he could get, right? Now, when it came time, found out that Jacob was coming. That Esau was coming. Jacob packed up his wife and family and kids and stuff, and he was a man on the run. So he sent his wife and kids and all this stuff ahead, and I want to highlight this verse 24 to 25. And I think it's 20, 21 and 21. Yeah. Genesis 25, 24 to 25. It said, but Jacob stayed by himself, and a man wrestled with him until daybreak. When the man saw that he couldn't get the best of Jacob as they wrestled, he deliberately threw Jacob's hip out of joint. The man said, let me go. It's daybreak. Jacob said, I'm not letting you go till you bless me. Okay, now we can look at this all kind of ways and stuff, but we all know that this was Jacob wrestling with himself. He was so determined. I can see it this way too. He was so determined to get a blessing that he was willing to wrestle with God. So, I'm saying this multiple ways. One way is that he was so determined to get a blessing that he wanted to wrestle with God and fight for what he believed was his, what he believed he was entitled for. I want a blessing too. Just because he's the oldest doesn't disqualify me because I'm the youngest that I don't get a blessing. Where's mine? See, so all his life he grew up hearing, yeah, your brother Esau is he's gonna get the blessing because he's the oldest and all this kind of stuff. And Esau's and Jacob's growing up, he's like, wait a minute, because the purpose in him knew, wait a minute, where's my blessing? I'm deserving too. So although Esau and Jacob were twins, their purpose and destiny in life were different. So Jacob, the way I'm seeing it, arrived here with a sense of identity. He knew his purpose was speaking to him because he was like, wait a minute, I'm not going out until I get my blessing. Now I know that I may be the youngest and I may not be equipped but I want my blessing too. I'm just as deserving. I'm a part of the family. Where's my blessing? And I'm not gonna let go until you give it to me. I need my sense of direction and purpose in life. Where is it? And you have to get to this place in your life where if you're not sure of your direction or anything, you need to get with yourself and commune with God and go through this dark night of the soul, because that's what that represents. So right at the end of his dark night of the soul, daybreak was coming. Revelation was coming. He said, look, I'm not letting you go until you bless me, until you reaffirm to me and let me know that I'm not going to die out here because I fought for something that I believe in. Where is it? Right? So sure enough, he said, okay, now this throwing his hip out of joint. People say it's because, it's I don't know. I still can't make sense of what that meant. But I would like to say, because it threw his hip out of joint. So he was walking differently. So when you finally receive that revelation and you go through your dark night of the soul, your walk is going to be different. He will no longer, because it says, he asked what his name was at the end. He told him it's Jacob. He says, no, it's now Israel, because you fought with God, right? And man, and you still here. Because you have of conquered yourself, man, and the God in you by standing in your authority and commanding God to bless you by taking your rightful place. He said, I'm gonna change your name. See, so the hip out of joint means that your walk is going to be different. That means you're going to be a new personality, a new character. So he told him, said, okay, your name is no longer Jacob, it's Israel. So the lamp represented his walk was different because he was a new version of himself. He was a higher version of himself. Why? Because he went through the dark night of the soul and wrestled with God. And he came back with a blessing. And that when you go through that dark night of the soul, you're going to be equipped with keys. And your walk is going to be different. It's going to be different. Because now you finally align with your purpose. He said, I don't want to be a trickster. I don't know why they called me that my whole life. I didn't stand a chance. Calling me a crook and a criminal, and I ain't even committed a crime. So I had to play that part out. But he wrestled with God because, look, I don't want to be this. I don't want to be like this anymore. So he's wrestling. He said, okay, bless me. Let me know that I don't have to play the part of a trickster anymore. Okay, you're Israel. There's something about when you refuse to let go. There's something about it. When you refuse to let go and don't give up, there's something on the other side for you. Something on the other side. Oh, yeah, we got plenty of time. So I'm encouraging you guys that if you no longer want to experience playing the part of someone that you believe in your heart that is not you, you don't have to perp to try to get someone else's what's allegedly supposedly for them. You don't have to go about it that way. It showed you how to do it. You have to go through a dark night of the soul. This is how I'm seeing it now, because the whole story would have been different. Now, Esau, Jacob, because if he really wanted something, he could have communed with God, went through that dark night of the soul, and he would have received his blessing, because there was destiny in his loins, because he was Joseph's father. Go figure that. Joseph, the deliverer. We don't hear about Esau anymore. This says so much to me that it doesn't matter what line, what order you're in. Whatever's for you is for you. And you don't have to go about it in a tricky way to try to get it. You don't have to try to get over on folks to try to get it. You just have to get in alignment and agreement with God. And don't let go until you get your blessing. During the wrestling encounter, Jacob was alone and afraid. Here we go. The man said, but no longer. Your name is no longer Jacob. Verse 28, Genesis 32:28. From now on, it's Israel, God wrestler. You've wrestled with God and you've come through. When you wrestle with God, what does that mean? Does that mean you're wrestling? That means that you are wrestling within the God inside yourself, because you are trying to make sense of everything. So you're wrestling. You're wrestling with that. Come on now, God. Help me make sense of all this, because I just don't understand why is no one looking at my heart? God said, I'm looking at it. And that's why your name is Israel, because you're a God wrestler, because you would not let go. You would not give up. Are you a God wrestler? Do you hold on and don't let go? Do you refuse to let go? Then you are a God wrestler. Be one today if you're not. Stand on what God promised you. Stand strong. And you don't have to go about it in conniving and tricky way to get anything. God commands integrity. So when he got up, he repositioned himself. He changed his posture because he had a new name. I am no longer a con man, a trickster. I am a God wrestler. I am Israel. The significance of the wrestling encounter is that it marked a turning point in Jacob's spiritual journey. After years of deception and scheming, Jacob finally encountered God face to face. He saw himself there. And he emerged from the encounter with a new name, a new identity, and a new understanding of God. Oh, wait! After you go through your dark night of the soul, you're going to come out a new version of you, and you're going to finally get it. It's going to finally make sense. And you're going to be able to stand uprightly in your true identity. You ain't got a perp to be anyone or anything to get in life, to get whatever you desire in life. No, you just got to be you, baby. And if you don't know who that is, you need to wrestle with God. You need to wrestle with you to determine who you are. Because when you do that, Spirit's going to show you all those areas that are not like you. And you're going to have to decide, no, it's not me. This is me. And because you held on and you did not give up, you got a blessing waiting for you. You got a new identity waiting for you. Hold on, baby. Don't give up. Don't let go. The name Israel, which was given to Jacob by the angel, means he who struggles with God. This name reflects the intense struggle that Jacob had with God and his unwavering determination to receive God's blessing. It also represents the ongoing struggle that all believers have as they seek to follow God and overcome the challenges of life. The wrestling encounter teaches us that God is always with us, even in our darkest moments. It reminds us that we can turn to God for strength and guidance, and that we can trust him to lead us through the challenges of life. The encounter also teaches us the importance of persistence and determination in our faith journey, and how we should never give up until we receive. Overall, the wrestling encounter was a defining moment in Jacob's life, and it serves as a powerful reminder to all of us the importance of staying faithful to God, even during life struggles. Okay. Being faithful, trusting, holding on, don't giving up, don't let go. We all hear this. We've been hearing this forever. So why is it that we have, because I'm telling you, it gets right down to the point where we don't trust ourselves. We don't trust ourselves, period. And if you don't trust yourself and believe in you, you all should see my house, okay? I've got stuff on the wall that reminds me every day, because I don't want to lose sight of who I really am, because all of this distraction and this noise is coming, and you don't want to lose sight of who you are and whose you are in these great and terrible days of the Lord. So if you have to put post-it notes all over your damn house, letting you know who you are to remind you, do it. Because what it's going to do, it's going to keep you in communion with God, and it's going to solidify that relationship where nothing, and I mean by nothing, will be able to tear it apart, because you have to hold on to who you are, because there's so much deception. It's just running rapid. But guess what? Where sin abounds, grace much more abounds. But you have to do whatever is necessary to remind yourself. Awaken every morning with the belief that something wonderful is going to happen. Believe in yourself. Always remember that you are stronger than you know, smarter than you believe, and wiser than you ever found yourself to be. All these little things, put it all over your house, so that as you're walking past it, you are subconsciously reading it, and it's getting in your subconscious, so that when you have these challenging experiences in your life, you'll be able to tap into that. I have hidden the word in my heart that I might not sin against thee. I have hidden your word in my heart. What word is that? That's the word of whatever it is that you find that resonates with your spirit. That is God talking to you. So if you see something and it resonates with your spirit, take it and put it on a wall or somewhere where you can see it every day, to the point where it just becomes a part of your life, your vibration. And you will only experience nothing but goodness and grace in your life. Even when it seems like you go through some challenging stuff, guess what? Grace gonna be there. And what grace is the one that kind of just softens the blows and makes it more easier to experience and cycle through. I'm telling you, guys, the time is up already, and it's just been a great discussion, and I hope you guys have enjoyed it. If you're not, go back and listen to it, catch the replay. I want to thank you all so much for watching. Join us Sunday, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, the great Michelle Massey Washington and myself, for another episode of Spiritually Speaking and Awakening. We don't have a guest this week. So that means that my co-host and I, we're going to be able to dive into the discussions and share with you our our takes on supernatural visitations. That's the theme for this season. So we 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on Seeing Love TV and all social media platforms. I want to thank you all for watching. I want to thank you for sharing. The podcast listeners, thank you for listening. Thank you for your support. Guys, the takeaway is, okay, the takeaway is, as long as I trust myself and trust God, then that agreement is solid, it's secure. Otherwise, I will live and experience my life by default. Do you want to live your life on your terms? Hi, Rex. Do you want to live your life on your terms, or do you want to live it by default? How do you do that? Coming into agreement with yourself and trusting yourself, because that's where God is. Takeaway. I trust myself, therefore I trust God. I trust myself, therefore I trust God. Make that your daily mantra affirmation. I trust myself, therefore I trust God. Boom. To the point where you believe it. Watch how your life changes. Watch how you see the magic happens. All right, guys. It is a great day. I want to wish you all a wonderful, amazing weekend. I'm actually going to spend some time with my mommy this weekend. Yay! So may you guys have a great, blessed weekend filled with love and light and just safety, security, and wonderful abundance. And until then, join us Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern, Spiritually Speaking and Awakening, right here on Seeing Love TV. Thank you guys so much. Stay in love. Think that you are encountering resistance, but actually from your external world, but actually that's your world telling you this ain't it.
The Ride Along with Vanessa Morning Show streams Fridays, 8 a.m. Central Standard Time. Stay in love. Get ready for your now awakening. Today's Michelleology. Monday, 7 a.m. Eastern. Only on Stay in Love TV. Stay in Love TV is your production to distribution solution to getting your message seen and heard. Having your own TV show with Stay in Love TV has never been easier than now. Stay in Love TV gives you the power to share your message with the world. Stop watching TV and start being watched on TV. Stay in Love TV offers real-time multicasting, all with one click. This opportunity puts you on the world stage with an audience of over 200 million. In addition to your low monthly subscription fees, you will also receive monthly network coaching and training from the network itself to ensure that before your first show premieres, you are set up for success. We at Stay in Love TV bring over 20 years experience in sales, marketing, advertising, and business development. Stay in Love TV, purposeful entertainment driven by love, empowered with passion, fueled with faith. Go to www.stayinlovetv.com and let's get started.